still one more amazing keynote speaker to share with y'all. This is our third and final keynote for this year's summit. Raul Romero is the product manager at eBay. He's a proud Venezolano, and he's currently a dynamic product manager at eBay, where they lead the development of 0 to 1 products with a particular focus on integrating generative AI applications into the fashion sector. Y'all should be so lucky I didn't trip over that. With a keen eye for innovation, Raul thrives at the intersection of technology and creativity, working to revolutionize the way people experience fashion through cutting-edge AI solutions. Raul is also the co-founder and CEO of Yakera, a crowdfunding platform that allows people in the developing world to tell their stories and receive support directly into their bank accounts. That's where it counts, using blockchain technology. Join us as we listen to Raul and how he is shaping tomorrow, one journey at a time. Raul, excited to have you here.
What an incredible introduction. I don't think I've ever pitched myself like that in a resume or anywhere. So I'll probably have to have a resume session with you because this was awesome.
Anything for you, man. I'm so excited to hear you speak. I'm going to step off stage and give you the mic. Everyone, welcome Raul to the stage.
Thank you so much. And really appreciate the opportunity. And it's great to be here. So I'm Raul Romero, and as Jolie said, I'm a product manager at eBay, focused on buyer experience and generative AI. And it's been incredibly inspiring to attend these sessions, to connect with our community and to see the impact that Techqueria is driving, opening the opportunities for many Latinos to enter or find their paths in tech. Fun fact, I was actually, before I joined eBay, I actually looked at Techqueria multiple times, the job board, looking at different opportunities. So it's amazing to have the opportunity to be here. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about both my journey and to think a little bit more about how we can drive impact. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And during my time in college, I started listening to Guy Raz's How I Built This, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And in this podcast, Guy talks to entrepreneurs and asks them about their stories behind some of the biggest consumer companies that you interact with on a daily basis. So it goes anywhere from Kona Ice to Airbnb and Kayak. In his interviews, he talks a little bit about the issues that entrepreneurs face and the set of the aha moments that led to the emergence of a company, a revolutionary idea, or a different and innovative way to do something that has been done before or has never been done before in a really innovative way. Towards the end of each episode, Guy asks a question that always gets me thinking. How much of your success do you attribute to luck? And how much do you attribute to hard work? And this is a great question. Max Levchin from PayPal and Affirm mentioned that luck is the action that you take when another opportunity appears in one of the episodes with Guy Raz. And he also mentioned that the willingness to take the risk is yours, but luck is that action that takes you when that opportunity appears. Ben Chestnut has another perspective. Ben Chestnut, who was the founder of MailChimp, he had attributed a lot of his success to forcing his way into luck. MailChimp, for instance, had started as a feature within a web design business. Freemium came to fruition due to technical difficulties. It was actually that they couldn't push the version that they were trying to, the paid version immediately. And freemium actually was a result of technical difficulties. And MailChimp, the famous ad in cereal, actually came from a mispronunciation that was not planned. Just like those entrepreneurs in How I Built This, eBay's own story is full of unexpected turns. It started as a small site in a website that featured many pages that Piero Mediar, back then an engineer for General Magic, used to host most of his hobbies or areas of interest, including Auction Web, which was the name of eBay back in the day, personal notes, and even a blog of the Ebola virus. You can imagine. These stories actually do resonate deeply with me because they mirror the unexpected turns and leaps of faith in my own journey. And to be honest with you, my path to tech has been anything but straightforward. I grew up in Venezuela, witnessing my country descend into economic and social crisis. As a child, I sang chants of protest, anxiously awaited for my parents to return from marches, and navigated a world increasingly altered by political instability. By age 15, scarcity had turned grocery shopping into an all-day affair, as you see on the image that you see on the left. Basic necessities like flour, milk, and medicine were more scarce than currency. Inflation was so rampant that in my family's cheese shop, we weighed the bills from customers on the same scale as cheese. Our family's budget tightened, and I refrained from asking for things that I needed. To contribute, I actually sold my PSP, my used PSP on Mercado Libre, back then still partly owned by eBay, to buy a new backpack for school. And I remember thinking, que vaina, what a tough situation we were in. Determined to make a difference, I started working when I was 15. I started working using my brother's ID to get paid in the local city council, where I actually founded the Youth Municipal Government, a platform for young people to feel represented after the government had banned student councils and other ways for young people to actually be represented and to participate in the political process. Every week, I visited schools to recruit students. One sunny day, after being turned away by a social studies teacher who actually feared that government repercussions would lead to the closure of the school, he actually stopped me as I was leaving. And he said, hey, before you go, I think you should actually apply to this high school program that my daughter attended. She went to Hong Kong to an international boarding school, and I actually think you should apply. I was intrigued but skeptical. I didn't speak English. My family certainly couldn't afford it. We were barely making ends meet. But something in me said, ¿por qué no? Why shouldn't I look at this? Why shouldn't I take a look? Especially because I couldn't get to the school and give the talk that I was supposed to. So I actually applied, joining hundreds of hopefuls. And against the odds, I became one of the 9 students out of 500 applicants who was actually accepted. However, even with a 75% scholarship, we needed to raise $21,000 for the remaining tuitions and expenses. But we didn't give up. We reached out to everyone, neighbors, customers from our cheese shop that my mom actually would hand a letter to, telling my story, and even strangers who would actually watch my video, the video I made with a few friends who actually helped me tell my story and talk about why going to an international school at that point would totally change my life. And through collective effort, we actually raised enough funds to cover the first year's expenses. In a period of around 2 months, we were actually able to raise around $9,000, and then we continued to raise the rest that was needed for me to complete my studies there. We didn't give up, and that's actually how I think luck brought me into America. It was one, being able to be at the right place at the right time, but actually having the opportunity and having the trust from many who didn't know me. In the US, I actually immersed myself in learning English and seized every opportunity. While in college, I couldn't ignore the worsening situation back home. So back in 2016, the situation started worsening. So by the moment I left the country to attend high school, the situation became more violent, the shortages worsened, and people were not just barely making ends meet, but poverty had significantly increased in the country and had reached almost 90% of the population. Humanitarian aid was also not a possibility. So people were not receiving aid from foreigners or foreign governments, and it had been prohibited. So while I was not in technology back then, I actually wanted to make a difference. And with a few friends, we actually co-founded Yakera, which is no longer operating, but it was a crowdfunding platform that used stablecoins to help people in Venezuela to receive donations directly for food, medicine, and even small businesses. We are determined to echarle pichón, to work hard and use technology to bypass economic barriers, allowing aid to reach those in need immediately. So thinking and rethinking humanitarian aid, and going from thinking that, hey, we're going to get a kilo of food and that kilo of food is going to be sent to someone, to actually thinking, hey, people can tell their own stories, can talk about their own needs, and people across the world can support them directly. using tech to actually enable people to receive funds in foreign currency, and they change them immediately if they wanted to buy something that they needed at the store, or supplies so that they could actually start or continue their small business. And that was one of the really profound changes and one of the profound lessons that actually that I was able to take with me. Number one is that technology can have an incredible power to drive social change. And number two, that it's not just that technology can drive social change, but we can make use of technology for that. And the technology was actually a really, really powerful tool that could be used for other purposes. And that the ability to connect millions of people around the world was something really, really meaningful and impactful, even beyond social change. And let me share a story that actually stays with me from Yakera. We received a campaign from Alexandra, a fifth grade student who was struggling to obtain enough funds to pay for her middle school education. Through Yakera, we connected Alexandra with donors from around the world. And in just a few days, enough funds were raised to cover her tuition fees and a computer. And this wasn't a transaction, it was a lifeline made possible by technology. We were able to cover years of her education. People were contributing directly to her family. There was essentially no middleman, and they were able to get the funds that they needed to actually cover education and actually to get a computer so that she should continue her studies. And this experience made me ask myself, what other challenges can we address through technology? How many lives can we touch if we apply our skills towards social good? And I pose the same question to you. What issues in your community could be alleviated with tech-based solutions? How can your unique skills contribute to meaningful change? Because technology isn't about technology in itself. I know many of us in the world of generative AI, we think about like, hey, what are the things that we can unlock? What are the things that technology can do? And not only can it do, but it can unlock. But sometimes we need to take a step back. And it's not just about the technology, but it's about what it can do, what it can do to people, what it can do to their possibilities, and what are the opportunities that it can open. Even in my own world now at eBay, thinking about a lot of the small businesses that can be helped by features that actually accelerate the velocity of their sales. What can we do to increase conversions so that people who are listing and who are trying to participate in e-commerce can actually send that fashion item that maybe they had in their closets and we're making use of. Each of us holds the power to leverage our skills to create tools or improve tools that can make a real difference, whether it's a charitable purpose or by creating opportunities and modernization in commerce or transportation. The opportunities are really vast. Back in college, a friend and I, during a business course, recommended me during a business course that I was part of. He actually recommended me to apply to eBay. While I had founded a company in software, I still barely knew about design, business, user experience, and even less so product. So I knew that technology could actually make a difference, but we were in the early stages and we were still making the product that Yakera became. And I asked a few questions. I prepared really hard for the interview. And for some reason, which I still did not understand at the time, I actually got an offer to join as an intern over the summer. At eBay, while I was still working on Yakera, I took every opportunity to learn and contribute. I scheduled 15-minute coffee chats with leaders, asked about their visions for the company, and put myself into every project. Eventually, and before I jumped and tell you a little bit more about that, this is what Yakera looked like at the time. We're actually translating and making easier the process of people who are looking at Twitter, let's say, and who are actually telling their stories to centralize and who are putting dozens of bank accounts into a single Twitter thread so people could donate. We made it simple so that people actually could share their stories, and it could be a link that people could go into and make a donation in their currency of their choice. The example that you see on the right was actually my brother. At some point, he needed support to actually create. He had a 3D printing business that he wanted to start, and he actually started raising funds using Yakera. And this was one of the biggest things that to me was incredible, knowing that we could have impact on stories like Alexandra's, stories like Natalia's, or stories like my brother's, where he was actually There was both the medical on Natalia, the educational piece, and Alexandra, but also the ability for my brother, for instance, to raise funds to start a business. And once eventually I returned full time to eBay. I focused myself on applying AI to commerce, specifically in generative AI for buyers and sellers in the fashion category. I went from not knowing product to actually having the opportunity to learn, grow, and lead a team that creates groundbreaking experiences like Shop the Look that you see on screen, which leverages generative AI to actually power experiences where users can look at different styles that are personalized to them, look at item recommendations, and these are all generative images that match the user's intent, styles, and their activity. Recently, I spoke with Eddie Garcia, eBay's chief product officer and a fellow Latino, un Cubano from LA. And I asked him, what do you believe is the key behind your success? He paused thoughtfully and he said, hey, throughout my career, the common thread behind my success and that of others that I've seen is simply being able to be the last person in the office. It's about working hard, going the extra mile. His words resonated deeply. It wasn't just about luck or being in the right place at the right time. It was about relentless dedication. It was about showing up and putting the effort. As we say back home, no es fácil, but it's worth it. This made me reflect on my own journey. From that motor taxi ride in Venezuela to get to the school where I told the story what I was trying to get to and where I actually didn't have the opportunity to get to the school and ended up just getting the recommendation to apply to this high school program. To standing here today, it's been a blend of luck, hard work, and importantly, the support of others. None of us get here alone. From the teacher who introduced me to international schools, to the friends and strangers who funded my education, to the mentor who encouraged me to apply to eBay, community has been a constant force. And I see the same pattern among many of us here. Friends who applied for countless scholarships and internships, who networked tirelessly, who knocked on hundreds of doors, all to create opportunities not just for themselves, but for others. As Latinos in tech, many of us navigate careers that aren't always understood by our families. Explaining what we do can be a challenge, but our successes can have a ripple effect, impacting our immediate families and the communities that we come from. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of those who may not have had the same opportunities. Our backgrounds give us a unique perspectives that enhance our work in tech. We understand the nuances of our communities, the challenges faced, and the potential solutions. This insight is invaluable. This is why I'm really passionate about opportunity, especially for Latinos and the next generation that is stepping into tech. We have the opportunity and power not to create luck for ourselves, but for each other. By answering LinkedIn messages, becoming mentors in Techqueria, collaborating on innovative ideas, just participating in the event, and simply sharing our stories, we build bridges. So I want to leave you with this message. Don't underestimate the impact of putting yourself out there, to saying yes to the opportunities that scare you, to embrace the discomfort of growth, and as you climb, reach back and bring others along with you. Because when we combine hard work with the courage to take risks, and when we support each other within our community, we don't just wait for luck to find us, we create our own luck together. So thank you so much for allowing me to share my story, and let's continue to build, to inspire, and to open doors for ourselves and for those who will follow our footsteps. Vamos.
Raul, I am just so appreciative and so moved by your story. Thank you so much. I'm just humbled by the fact that you came to share with us here at Techqueria today. Again, appreciate you.
No, thank you so much for organizing the event. Thank you so much to Techqueria for everything that you guys do, and it's been awesome. I had the opportunity to connect with so many yesterday, and it's incredible to know that there's many of us and that we have this community.
And that's what it's all about, right? We're building community together and making sure we stay connected and elevating each other, which has been kind of the theme, not just of what you've been talking about, but what a lot of folks have been bringing to the table here. So thank you again for being here with us today.
Thank you, Hollis.
Well, y'all, I don't know if y'all are feeling motivated, inspired, and excited to get things going, but we are about to soon get to the sessions. Before we do, I do want to note, if you do not see the expo icon, and wait, maybe it's this side. I never know which side of the screen I'm actually on. Here we go. Maybe it's this side. If you don't see the expo icon underneath the networking icon, please just refresh your page or close out and come back real quick so that you can see it. That expo area, that's where the career fair is going to be at 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. But it is exactly 1:29 right now, which means y'all already know we about to open the pods. I'm kidding. We're about to open the sessions for all of you to enjoy the next set of folks who are bringing their knowledge, bringing their skills, and bringing their stories to share with you. So have a great time at the sessions. See y'all. I'm excited to see folks who are coming to the New York event tonight. Otherwise, y'all have a great time networking and get them jobs. Secure the bag. Adelante todo. Bye.